we told him no time limit for him.
Right. No, but I just want to tell you that some people may think that it's about 15.
Yeah, that's right.
At the start.
Okay. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to. Okay, so in any case, well, let's get started. Thank you very much. I'm having a great time here. And I guess tying in the playing of kartals to working towards overall wellness, there is a connection there. Yeah? Hearing the sweet sounds of the kartals during the kirtan can make a big difference. Okay, everybody loves the sound of a drum, the thump of a drum, the bass sound. It moves your stomach, doesn't it? It also makes you want to move your legs and gyrate and move your arms, the whole body. The kartals have a little bit of a different effect. There's a charm to them, you know. But we sometimes see that the usage of kartals can be quite destructive and can be annoying when outplayed, overplayed, banged too hard, and so on. And also, since whatever kartals we have in this premises, in the Yogashala, are of 4 varieties, I thought I would just start my little presentation by going for a little selection. If you're going to the local kartal store, you know, in Tyrone, Pennsylvania, or whatever, wherever you have the latest or local kartal playings, conveyance or store, you can select. We should be selecting. What I kind of like to go for is, I don't have farmer's hands. I was raised on a farm, but I don't have those big, thick farmer's hands that when you grab, you do a handshake, it says, wow, there's power there. I don't have that. So I prefer to have a set of kartals that are a little bit lightweight and that will allow me to play for some length, okay? So if it's for a short RT, it's 10 minutes or 15 at the most. If it's a longer RT, like we hold in ISKCON, it's going to be about 25 minutes. And if you are in a mela, you might be at it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and keep going at it until your hands fall off, you know. They just break right off here. Okay, so what I think in choosing, I think it's very important. I can feel the weight of these metals. And personally, I'm not in favor of heavy metal music, nor heavy metal kirtans, necessarily. Okay, these are a little heavy on me. I can tell right off the bat, I'm not going to be able to play them for very long before they, let's say they cut off my circulation, and then I'm in trouble. So I've already kind of discredited them, but I might go back to them if after having analyzed the other 3, that it's still the best. Okay, here I see some that are actually a little bit lighter in weight. The color, it doesn't have the same sheen, it doesn't draw my attention as much. They have a little bit of a lip to them, which sometimes has advantages. It gives a little bit more of a ring. You see, it's got a lip to it. It curves at the end, so. There's a little bit of a 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is definitely another kind of brass. And I can tell off the bat there's a more of a lip to these, but too much lip. Too much lip I also find doesn't. And it's kind of flat. It's a flat sound. Can you tell from the last one? So in choosing your kartals, you really have to look at the sound. It's very important. These are also a little bit, I'd say, medium weight. And as far as the strand goes, there isn't enough. So it doesn't give me enough mileage, you know, to work with my fingers. Generally, we hold the kartals like this, and this way you have a good grip. What do you think? Yeah, of the 4, the first 2 had that nice little ring to it. So I try to avoid flatness. So let's go back to number 1. The one with less of a lip. And now the one with the greater lip.
I like this better.
You like this? Okay, this is everyone's favorite so far. Okay, so I think that's very important. Now let's go to what Srila Prabhupada taught us in the kirtan, where you have the drummer playing. You have kartals to accompany it, and these are the two traditional instruments that are used in traditional kirtan for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. My understanding is in Bengal, it was a little bit more like this. The origins could possibly be from South India, where they play a real nice, soft, sweet kind of, kartal. Jajas and or what we call wampers are very common in Orissa and places like that, where you have those sort of they're like big cups in your hand with a flat lip to it, and they produce another very different kind of sound from these. They don't have that sweet chime to them. However, when played well, if you have like 10 to 20 men, usually it's the men who do it, and without mridanga, and they play in time to greet an elder, to greet a Maharaj coming down, like a king off the elephant or something like that. Or for the Lord, in the case of Jagannath and the Rath Yatra, it sounds really wonderful. And it's my understanding that during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, they used those jajas or those wampers, and that was quite common. Oftentimes not even with a drum, So what I believe we should try to avoid is too many kartals. They get overbearing in a kirtan. They ring in your ear. I think they will have an adverse effect on your eardrums after some time, after collective years of hearing this kind of thing. And of course, our young people, they love it. It's like going to a rock concert, like what we used to do when we were young. And it was, it'd blow away your eardrums, and then we didn't mind. We were just oblivious. You couldn't talk to each other. If someone's saying something to you during a rock concert, you didn't know what they were saying. You go, yeah, you're right. You just agree with them. You didn't know what they were saying. So it's like that in kirtan sometime too. So what's the normal way to play? Let's look at this at least the way I've been holding kartals, to get the grip and also allow for a little freedom with the fingers. So it's the index finger and the middle one, and I just turn this around like this, and this is what I have for gripping them or holding on to them. Okay, and what Prabhupada taught us was the simple 1, 2, 3 beat, okay? And to get the maximum sweetness out of it, hit it at the end. And I watched Prabhupada play. He would release the fingers so that there would be a little bit of an extra extension on the number 3. It would be allowed to vibrate just a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. So I think just to get the hang of it, let's get the rhythm and we can clap it through. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can try it. Okay. Okay, well, it's a little more complicated what I've got here. I'll do it one more time, okay? I'm just demonstrating right here, okay? I'm going to turn these guys around, and I'm going to put the cord in between the 2 fingers. Okay? So I've got them tightly, fixed in, okay? And again, let's go again. I can show you after you need some help. I'm only giving 15 minutes. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare A lot of it is about following the person who's leading the chant. Let's speed it up. Very good, okay. Unfavorable kartal playing is. And if you think some people don't do that, then yeah, some people are edges, yeah. This can be sweet if you don't go too loud on it. And the mridanga playing is, I mean, I actually saw Prabhupada here in New Vrindavan at the old farm where, I don't know if you were there today. I saw him playing kind of a little bit snazzy at my second initiation. He was sitting on the vyasasam and he was doing like that. Is there anybody who'd like to try? Okay, I guess we can get someone to disperse them. Of course, I have the first pick, and I have the best one, best pair. And we can pass it around. You want help with that? Okay. I'll give you a private lesson in a non-private situation. That's the one that doesn't have a long enough cord, unfortunately. And just like if you're playing in a band or a group of musicians, you don't want any one particular instrument to overshadow the others. Right? You've got to play in a synchronized way. And there has to be a balance of powers, right? The kartals cannot take over. So there is such a thing as having too many of them. We have some idea of this, of ratios. It's written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. When the kirtan was organized for the Rath Yatra, the Festival of Chariots, in front of Jagannath. Got it? The kartals, basically, they complement the kirtan. And oftentimes we see in our ISKCON, the person who's leading the chant also plays the kartals, but it doesn't have to be like that. I personally prefer to have other competent people play the kartals when I'm leading. And I like to have my hands free to clap because clapping is also an integral part. So at least in our tradition, mridangas and kartals are essential. Harmonium is not a part of our tradition. A harmonium was born in the 1800s and it came from Germany. But people in India took it up with an incredible passion, just like when the British brought tea. So tea and harmonium. Are we doing okay? How's it feeling? Okay, we'll go through it one more time. I've got 2 fingers here for peace. Put them in here. Turn them around. Put the cord in between the 2 fingers. This is the way I do it. I'm not saying it's a hard and fast rule. But I can hold on to them. I have a good grip, and there's enough looseness, leniency, that I can play around with the kartals. What, letting the thumbs
With
go?
the fingers, running the thumb, the whole
With the fingers, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thumb doesn't have. The thumb just kind of holds the 2 symbols in place. And then for the final ring, you release. Any other fingers that might be holding it can also. That's how I remember Prabhupada doing it, letting these things. Okay, sorry, it's not South Indian, right? Okay.
What do you call in Telugu? 1, 2, 3.
Well, that doesn't work. In English, you've got 1 syllable words, so it kind of works. So I think it's really important to some of us are naturally musically inclined, so we can understand if there's an overdose of too much of one sound, then it's reserve yourself to not pick up kartals if there's already too many. Like per 1 mridanga, even just 1 pair of kartals can be very sweet. And you don't want these to play too loud so you can't hear what the person is singing. What are they saying? If Mrs. Patel walks in and she's 93 and she's on a walker and she's, what are they saying? Okay. You want to be able to hear the mantra. That's very important, okay? So these should not overshadow or upstage the mantra, nor should the mridanga for that matter. But these are just a simple, it's a little simple intro into playing kartals, which makes it complete. For traditional Gaudiya Vaishnav Kirtan, it's mridanga, it's some form of kartal, and of course it's singing and it's dancing. But there was no space put in for dance lessons at this session, maybe next year, okay?
And are you personally against harmonium since you compared it to tea?
Well, no, because herbal tea is also okay, right? But harmonium was used during Prabhupada's time in bhajans, and he used it. But it's not a standard instrument in Kirtan. there's no hard and fast rules, but it's nice to keep things a little bit on the traditional level in the temple room. You know, if we lose tradition, we've lost the heart almost. So we're not against fusion. Nobody's against fusion. It's just that Prabhupada stipulated, he said, not for kirtan, and you know, at the same time,
Harmonium, not for
yeah, that's right. Not generally for kirtan. Of course, popular kirtan in ISKCON has been sit down, everyone's on the floor, and the person who's leading plays the harmonium. That's what it has become. But not during Prabhupada's time. It was people are moving and people are swaying, and you know the whole body is like a harmonium. Let's put it that way. The body is a harmonium, and then since you're doctors and nurses and people in the medical field, this is one of the best kind of therapies. Is to dance, to move your body instead of just sitting down for hour after hour.
So today and tomorrow night, we have campfire kirtan, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
Swanboard Festival kirtan.
Oh yeah.
So we should all be dancing and
I think it's a pretty good idea.
Okay.
If you're up for some dance lessons and it's not too dark, I'd be happy to lead them.
So tonight is, what time? Right after Prasad.
It depends on the slope of the ground, you know, because
Separate dance.
Separate
Yeah, I mean,
You can include in
tomorrow
this.
is like this evening, if you're up for a campfire kirtan, and you can guide us doing campfire.
okay, yeah, as long as we have a flat slope, like I wouldn't encourage dance steps on this slope because there will be a lot of rock and rolling, you know, unrehearsed, and somebody might